Assalamualaikum, Miss.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, Miss.
Just give me a minute. I'll be sharing the screen. Let me know whenever the screen is visible. Yep. Are you all able to view the screen?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Please write your answers in the chat box. So I may know responses to everyone else. And let's start with the first question. The first one says you have a list of substances which are given. We've completed metals, right? So we are doing some questions related to it. It says that state which substance is formed by the thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate in the blast furnace. Write your answers in the chat box. Calcium oxide. Very good. Very good. And what else is formed other than calcium oxide? When it is thermally decomposed, yes, carbon dioxide. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Then the next question says, so basically this kind of a question comes up in exam, and this is either related to periodic table or metals or generally the groups of elements, right? So they're going to ask you something regarding it, and this complete question at least carries up to 8 to 10 marks. Okay. Now the next one says it is a compound that reduces iron 3 oxide in the blast furnace. What compound is it which reduces Fe2O3 in the blast furnace? Carbon monoxide. Very good. Excellent. So yesterday I told you that carbon monoxide is a good reducing agent. Carbon is also a very good reducing agent. Okay. And within the blast furnace, carbon monoxide is produced when, how is carbon monoxide produced? Can someone recall? How is carbon monoxide produced? What is the reaction that takes place? Yes, it is the reduction of carbon dioxide. Very good one. So basically, you have carbon dioxide, which further reacts with more coke or carbon to produce carbon monoxide. Okay. And then this carbon monoxide is going to react with Fe2O3 to form iron, and carbon dioxide will again be formed as a result. Okay, moving on. Can someone tell me why this calcium carbonate is used and what is the purpose of calcium oxide which is produced here in this case scenario? Calcium oxide which is produced, what is the purpose of it? Yes, calcium oxide which is produced because of thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate has its purpose. It has certain aim. What is the objective? It is going to react with silicon dioxide to form calcium silicate. Very good. So calcium oxide basically is going to remove the impurities which are present within the iron ore. Okay, and this is how it removes the impurities. A compound which is produced by the thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate, you have to pick one compound from the list of symbols and formula which is given to you above. Yes, carbon dioxide. Very good. Okay. Then the next question says, name the main ore of iron. What is the main ore of iron? Hematite. Okay. Spellings. Hematite. Okay. All right. The main ore of iron contains iron 3 oxide, which is Fe2O3. Describe the extraction of iron from iron ore in the blast furnace. In your answer, you have to describe the production of carbon monoxide, the role of carbon monoxide, and the role of calcium carbonate added to the blast furnace. Now, since the question here says, the command word says describe, this means you have to mention certain points here, okay? And these points, they are all going to be cumulatively gaining you 4 marks. Okay, so at least one statement should be here, two statements or one complete descriptive statement should be here, and 1 to 2 statements should be in the first part. Yes, write your answers in the chat box. First, tell me why the production of describe the production of carbon monoxide. Broken iron gives carbon dioxide. No, we're talking about Basit, we're talking about carbon monoxide, CO, which is formed. Coke reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, and then it reacts with more coke to form or produce carbon monoxide. Yes, that's right. Or you can say carbon burns in oxygen or in excess of air to produce or to form carbon dioxide as a result, and the carbon dioxide which is produced is then reduced or will further react with carbon or coke to produce more carbon monoxide. Okay. All right. So we have produced when carbon dioxide is reduced. Ayla, this is a very short answer. Your answer should be more descriptive in nature and it should be more comprehensive. This is not a complete statement.
Okay.
Like, try to mention complete statements. For instance, if you are mentioning produced when carbon dioxide is reduced, So, so you should mention first that how carbon dioxide is produced. Then you should mention that carbon dioxide is then going to be reduced by whom? It will be reduced by carbon when it is going to further react with more coke or carbon to produce carbon monoxide as a result. Okay, so two statements here at least. Then the carbon present from the coke reacts with oxygen from the air supplied at the bottom of the blast furnace to produce carbon dioxide. Zoya, right? This carbon dioxide further reacts with carbon to produce carbon monoxide. Don't need to mention in the coke. Okay, it means carbon means that it's basically coming from the source is coke. Reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is reacted with more coke to form carbon monoxide. Yes, this is right. Okay, your answers are right. Good. Okay, moving on to the next one, the role of carbon monoxide. Now, what is the role of carbon monoxide? One statement is required. Yes, the carbon monoxide which is produced is used to then reduce or is going to reduce iron 3 oxide to form iron, or you can mention molten iron. All right. Then the next one says the role of calcium carbonate added to the blast furnace. Calcium carbonate is first you have to mention that calcium carbonate decomposes to form calcium oxide. Then you're going to add in that this calcium oxide, which is produced as a result, will react with the impurities such as silicon 4 oxide when impure iron ore, and then it is going to form calcium silicate, which is molten slag. All right, these things they must be mentioned. This basically means that your answer it is going to become more comprehensive, and it is going to be it should be in a precise manner. So to fill in all of these, utilize all of these lines and make it more comprehensive and precise. Okay. This is very easy question. Iron collects at the base of the blast furnace as liquid. Now describe the arrangement and motion of the particles within the liquid. What is the arrangement and what is the motion of the particles? So it is for 2 marks, one statement each. Mention your answers in the chat box. The arrangement is random. Okay. Are you just going to write random arrangement? Ayan, Umer.
Yes, miss.
Are you just going to write random? Like simply you're just going to mention one word only?
No. I just mentioned here. I'm going to write the whole answer.
What is your going to be your statement?
The liquid particles, they have an irregular arrangement. I can say that. It
Yeah,
is not
or
in patterns. Yes.
they are irregularly, the particles in a liquid are irregularly arranged, or
Yes.
you can write that they have a random arrangement. Okay.
Okay.
And what about slip and slide?
Like they move past each other.
They
I can.
move past each other, or they are they're sliding over each other. Okay. Don't mention slip and slide.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and it says irregular arrangement and random movement. Yes, random movement is also correct. This is a correct terminology to use. Random movement, irregular arrangement, or no particular arrangement, or they are they're moving past each other. So keep both of the arrangements and the motions or the movement of the particles separate. All right. Don't intermix it in your answers. Good. Moving on to the next one. This question is about metals, and carbon is used to extract iron from iron ore in a blast furnace. You have to state two uses of carbon in the extraction process. What do you think could be the two uses of carbon within the extraction process of iron? To increase the temperature and to produce carbon monoxide for reduction of iron. Yes, your answers are right. Just try to make it more descriptive. Okay. And I've been looking into your papers as well. So I think it's difficult to type the whole answer here in the chat box. So, but your answers, they are correct. So it's used as a reducing agent, you can say, and to increase the temperature. How do we increase the temperature, Zoya?
The carbon and oxygen react to produce carbon dioxide, which increases the temperature.
Which is basically exothermic in nature.
Yes.
Okay. So being the exothermic reaction, this is going to generate more and more heat energy. Okay, moving on to the next one. Explain how this equation, carbon reacting with carbon dioxide to produce carbon monoxide, shows that carbon dioxide is reduced. Carbon dioxide loses an oxygen. Yes, very good. Carbon dioxide is going to lose its oxygen, and loss of oxygen is reduction reaction. Gain of oxygen is oxidation. Okay. 1 mark, 1 statement is required. Name the type of chemical reaction where oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. What reaction is it? Redox. Yes. So basically, these questions, they tend to be mark scoring questions. Okay. Most of the students and candidates, they will gain marks in these. All right. Those who have some acquired knowledge, some level of understanding and everything else. But the ones, there are certain questions which are typically hard, or you can say that they require much analytical skills. Though you have to practice those questions if you are good enough to solve these. All right. If you're good enough to solve these, then move on to try to solve more and more of analytical questions so that you're able to do well if a new pool of questions comes up, which is going to be much more analytical. Okay. Calcium carbonate is added to the blast furnace, and this undergoes thermal decomposition. What is the meaning of the term thermal decomposition? Now, look, usually the terminologies, they are for 1 marks. When the meaning of the term is asked and it is for 2 marks, this means that here they are basically asking you to describe this as well and also to define this decomposition. So you have to mention the meaning of both of these words here. Thermal decomposition is a chemical reaction whereby when a compound breaks down when heated, okay, breakdown of a substance into simpler substances by heat, okay, good. Under higher temperature, breaking down of a substance by under higher temperature, okay, using heat to split or decompose the reacting into 2 or more products. Yes, that's right. So basically, it is the breakdown of a compound by using heat energy, or don't write thermal energy. If you're writing thermal energy, this means you're not defining it. You're simply restating the same terminology. Okay. Use a different word for that. And we know the different word for thermal energy is heat energy. Okay. The electronic structures of 5 atoms, A, B, C, and D, E, they are shown. An atom, state which electronic structure represents an atom of the metal that is extracted from bauxite. Yes. Easy question. Bauxite is the ore of aluminum oxide. Yes, bauxite is aluminum oxide. Okay. Okay, very good. Excellent. All right, moving on to the next one. A list of symbols and formula is shown to you. A compound produced by the thermal decomposition. I think we did this earlier. No, it had different list of symbols and formula. What will be the answer to this one? Calcium oxide. Yes, calcium oxide is the right answer. Okay. Then the next question says, this question is about acids and bases. Calcium oxide is lime. One use of lime. Do you know? Can you answer this question? No. Lime water is Basit. Lime water is used to detect carbon dioxide. Okay. And lime water is calcium hydroxide. Okay. Calcium oxide is lime. Okay. And it is not used for detection of carbon dioxide. Lime water is used for detection of carbon dioxide. It is used in the blast furnace to reduce the impurities. Yes, any other applications? Particularly, Fahad, it is not used in blast furnace. Calcium carbonate is used. Okay. So calcium carbonate is going to thermally decompose to form calcium oxide, and as a result of which it will be used to reduce the impurities or to collect impurities. You have to discuss any other applications that you can suggest. Concrete or paint. Yeah, you can say for making cement. All right. Making cement, we use calcium oxide. In making of steel, we use calcium oxide. And calcium oxide is also used in making glass. Okay. Steel, glass, concrete. Okay. Sorry, cement. Cement, glass, and your steel making. All of these three processes, they use calcium oxide. One other major use of calcium oxide is that it is used in agriculture fields, okay, in crop fields to increase acidity or to decrease acidity. Zoya. Decrease the acidity.
Yes,
It is going to neutralize the acidity. If supposingly the crop yields and the soil is acidic, okay, its pH is more likely to be below 7, all right, and you sprinkle some quick lime on it, which is powdered calcium oxide. Calcium oxide is a metal oxide, so it is basic in nature. So what is it going to do? It is going to react with the acidity, and it is going to react with the hydrogen ions within the soil, and as a result of which it is going to neutralize that soil. And why is this important? This is important because by sprinkling that calcium oxide, it is going to neutralize the soil, because that acidic soil was actually damaging and will affect the product yield of the crop. Okay, so it is going to affect the product yield of the crop, and it is also going to damage all the crops. So which is why calcium oxide is used here in this case scenario for the fertility of the crops. Yeah, kind of. So for growth of crops, for crop growth, you can say, okay. Iron is extracted from iron ore. Name the ore of iron. We've talked about this. This is hematite. Just need to know good, correct spelling of it. Iron ore contains iron 3 oxide, which is reduced by iron carbon monoxide in the blast furnace. Complete the chemical equation for this reaction. This is going to be, I think you guys can do this one. It's easy. 2 marks, 2, 3. Yes, very good, 2, 3. That's right. Then the next question says, meaning of the term thermal decomposition. Again, meaning of the term thermal decomposition, 2 marks. So if you are good enough with past papers, right, and you have had a good analysis of the past papers in the coming up in last 5 years at least, okay. So you will be able to know that what the examiner is actually asking for, and he is most likely to test you about, okay. When we're going to go through actual yearly past papers, we will at least discuss, I plan to discuss at least 3 years yearly past papers. And that's why I'm sending you these worksheets. So these worksheets, they actually contain past 5 years past papers. So when you're going to solve it, you will be able to recognize, and you will be able to assess how the questions they're being asked. Most of them, they're repeated questions, okay. Most of them, these questions, which are very straightforward questions. For example, what kind of straightforward questions? These definitions, advantages, disadvantages, okay. All of these are very straightforward questions. If you know the answer, you will score the mark. If you don't know the answer, you will lose the mark, okay. Choose the correct statement about the reaction of calcium oxide in the blast furnace. Tick one box. Which one do you think is correct? The third one. It reacts with impurities in the iron ore to form slag. Yes, that's right. What one advantage of recycling iron? What is that one advantage to recycle iron? How is it better for the environment? Rayan. Less wastage. Yeah, more ore will not be mined. Yes, you can say that iron ore will be conserved more, okay, and as a result of which fuel conservation can be depicted, okay. And what else? It doesn't create pollution. Yes, you can say less energy will be reduced, obviously, to produce iron. So this is not going to create much pollution. So yes, all of these answers are correct. But just mention it in a comprehensive way. Your statement shouldn't look like as if it is a phrase. Okay, don't make your statement look like your answer look like as if it is a phrase. Okay, mention a one complete statement, which should be a precise, comprehensive statement. All right. Name the substance which provides carbon for this reaction to take place. For this reaction, equation 1. Coke, yes. The next one says, state the purpose of the combustion of carbon in the blast furnace. Why does carbon undergo combustion? To increase the temperature. Yes, to provide heat. Okay, to provide heat energy within the blast furnace. It is an exothermic process. All right. Calculate the percentage by mass of iron in iron 3 oxide in the next question. How do we find out the percentage by mass of any element from its compound? What is the formula? 70%. What did you do, Ayan?
Ma'am, we had to find the percentage mass of iron oxide. Sorry, iron in iron oxide. So I did 2 multiplied by 56, which is the mass of iron, divided by the total MR.
Which mass of iron?
Atomic
mass.
Yeah, atomic mass. Yes, and I divided by it by the MR, and I got 70%.
And then you divide by the relative molecular mass of the whole compound. Yeah.
Yes, multiply by 100.
Multiply by 100 to convert it into percentage. You have to show your complete steps. Mention the formula that you're using in the answer space. and write your final answer in the blank which is given to you. Okay.
Ma'am, and one more question. So one word answers can also be acceptable. Like
Only for instance, if it is if they're asking you to identify an element, okay, or
oh,
mention the letter, okay, so
okay.
those answers are accepted. Or for example, name the substance. All right, so
Mhm.
that will be completely fine. But whenever the command word says describe or explain, okay, then you
Okay.
have to mention at least a complete statement. Don't just simply mention any kind of a phrase or something.
Okay, ma'am.
Then the next question says state the name of the iron ore which consists mainly of iron 3 oxide. Same question. The next one says describe how carbon monoxide is formed in the blast furnace. Again, repetitive question by reduction of carbon dioxide. All right, yes. Um, write the state symbol equation. Symbol equation is required, not word equation, to show the reaction that occurs when iron 3 oxide is converted into iron in the blast furnace.
Sorry, miss, I didn't complete the answer. I accidentally pressed the enter key.
Yep, okay. I'll wait. Write down your answers in the chat box. Okay, Fe2O3 and 3 moles of carbon monoxide produce iron, carbon dioxide. Very good, all of you. So this is a complete chemically balanced symbol equation. Whenever this kind of a question comes up in exam, you have to mention always chemically balanced symbol equation with correct formula. Even if the formula is incorrect, you will lose a mark. Or supposingly if it is not chemically balanced, you will lose a mark. And if the if the question says include state symbols, then you are required to add in state symbols. Supposingly, if the student, if any candidates mention state symbols here, okay, they will be completely ignored since the examiner didn't ask for it. Okay, and if you are mentioning state symbols, make sure and ensure that they are correct state symbols. All right. So state symbols do carry 1 mark if the examiner asks for it. The next question says, name the chemical process which happens to iron when iron 3 oxide is converted to iron in the blast furnace. Yes, reduction. Very good. Okay. Then the next question here is, state the type of reaction which is shown by equation 2. So equation 2 is calcium carbonate reacting, producing calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. What kind of reaction is this? Thermal decomposition. Okay. Next, we are moving on to explain why the reaction in equation 3 can be described as an acid-base reaction. This is for 2 marks. Why equation 3 can be described as an acid-base reaction. Can someone suggest why? We haven't studied the topic yet. If you have any idea. Yes, calcium oxide is basic. Silicon oxide is acidic in nature. And when both of them, they're reacting with each other, they're forming calcium silicate, which is basically a salt. Okay. So we say that this reaction is going to be acid-base reaction. All right. The chemical name of SiO2. Chemical name. No, chemical name. Silicon 5 oxide. Silicon 4 oxide. Yes. 4 needs to be Roman numerals. Very good, Carl. All right. The next one. The common name which is given to CaSiO3 when it is formed in the blast furnace. One thing, Ayan. Ayan, you wrote silicon 5 dioxide. Silicon 4 oxide it is, okay? Not dioxide. If you're mentioning silicon dioxide, just mention silicon dioxide. But if you're mentioning chemical name of it, the chemical name of it is silicon 4 oxide. 4 within the brackets as Roman numerals. All right, slag. Yes, slag is the common name of it, which is calcium silicate. Aluminum. Yes, Zoya.
Miss, how did you get the chemical name?
How did it go into chemical? Everything has a chemical name. For example, calcium oxide. Calcium oxide is a chemical name. Okay. The common name for calcium oxide is lime or quicklime. Okay. Similarly, lime water. Lime water is a common name, and the chemical name of lime water is calcium hydroxide. Okay. So this is how every particular compound has its chemical name, and they also have certain common names. But not everybody has not every other compound has common name. Some of them they do have it.
So are we required to also put the Roman numerals of
Of
the...
course, yes,
Okay.
yes. Of course. Okay, and specifically, if you're talking about any transition elements, then you should be placing the Roman numerals within brackets. That is completely required, since it is going to mention that you have an understanding that the transition elements, they have multiple or variable oxidation states. So mentioning the oxidation states or the oxidation states of the transition elements within the parenthesis basically is going to determine that you have an understanding that the transition elements, they have variable oxidation states. So it's you have to mention it in the chemical name. Aluminum cannot be extracted from its ore using a blast furnace. State why aluminum is not extracted from its ore using a blast furnace. More reactive than carbon? Yes, aluminum is more reactive than carbon. Carbon is less reactive than it, so it cannot be. So it cannot be reduced. Yes. Okay, the next one says, name the process used to extract aluminum from its ore. Electrolysis. Yes, very good. I told you any other element which is basically present in group 1, 2, 3, present above carbon in the metal reactivity series, it has to be extracted by the process of electrolysis. And any other which is present below carbon in the reactivity series can be easily reduced by carbon with heating it with carbon. Okay. And in the blast furnace or a crucible. And for less reactive or the least reactive naive metals, they are present in their elemental states. Both iron 3 oxide and aluminum oxide contain metal ions with a 3+ charge. Write the electronic configuration of an aluminum ion. 2828. Yes, very good. In aluminum atom basically has electronic configuration 283. 3+ means that it has lost 3 electrons, so the final configuration will be 228. Reduce the number of protons and electrons in iron ion. 13, 10? No. 26, 20. Yes, 26. Very good. Okay. All right. Then the next one. This question is about the first 30 elements in the periodic table. With the element which is extracted from hematite, I think you must know it by now. Iron. Yes. And a list of substances has been given to you. State which of the substances is the main constituent of bauxite. Aluminum. Yeah, aluminum oxide. Then the next question says boron and aluminum. There's one more thing I have to add in here. Supposing the question here says name the element which is extracted from the hematite. Okay, and you mention here iron. Supposing anybody mentions iron here. So this is actually not technically correct. Why? Because they asked you to write the name of it. They didn't ask for the chemical symbol of it. Okay. So please mention names when names are asked. Mention chemical symbols when chemical symbols are asked. If you are mentioning both, then both must be correct. Okay. The next question says boron and aluminum, both of them, they are three elements. And aluminum is extracted from its purified ore, as shown in the figure. The name of the aluminum ore is. It is bauxite. Yes, very good. The electrolyte contains aluminum oxide and one other substance. State the other substance and explain why it is used. Do you remember from electrolysis? What is used other than aluminum oxide? Cryolite. Yes, very good. So why? 1 mark, 1 statement is required. No, don't mention about the melting point. Mention that it is going to decrease the or lower down the operating temperatures of the for this electrolysis to take place. Okay, we know that that the melting is basically the melting point decreases, but the major primary reason to add cryolite is not to actually decrease melting point, but to decrease the operating temperature. Why? Because to make the whole industrial process more economical. Okay. Because if you're not going to use lower temperatures, lower operating temperatures, this means that more energy will be utilized and more amount of the cost is going to go up. Okay, it's going to become more and more expensive, which is why this cryolite is added. So for your understanding, I've told you this, that the temperature is decreased, the melting point is decreased and everything else. But by here, in this case scenario, they have mentioned this, why it is used. So you have to mention that it is mainly to decrease the operating temperature or to lower the operating temperature. Okay. Then the next question. Are we clear up to yet? Ionic. Yes, Zoya.
Miss, can we also say that it increases, increases the conductivity?
It increases the conductivity. It acts as a solvent. Okay. Any of these three statements you can write.
Okay, Miss.
Then the next one. Write the ionic half equation for the reaction at the cathode. Yes, Zoya.
Oh, sorry, Miss. I accidentally pressed the button.
Okay. Mention your half equations in the chat box. Gains free electrons to form aluminum metal. Yes, that's right. Good. Yes, very good. Okay. Explain why the anodes need frequent replacement. Next question for 2 marks. 2 statements must be present, or at least 2 phrases. Carbon reacts with oxygen, produces carbon dioxide. Okay, and what happens if carbon dioxide is produced? It corrodes away the anode, or rather than using burning the anode, Ibrahim, right, or mention corrodes away or wears off the anode. Okay, and this carbon electrode ion, carbon mention the anode is carbon electrode, which reacts with oxygen produced at the anode, thereby producing carbon dioxide, which will corrode away the carbon anode. Okay. Oxygen will be released at the anode, reacts with carbon anode to produce carbon dioxide, which corrodes the anode. Yes, that's right. Absolutely correct. Okay. So I'll be ending the session till here for now today. Inshallah, for regarding tomorrow's session, I think I mentioned tomorrow 12 noon, but I will rearrange these timings. Let me know if you guys can take a class tomorrow. Okay, I will let you know what time tomorrow suits. Can you all take a class tomorrow, compensatory session at 11 a.m. Pakistan time? 11 a.m. Pakistan time?
Yes, miss.
In the morning tomorrow. Do we all agree on this? 12 is too early. So, we'll think of it, and then I will let you know, because today after Ramzan sighting, okay, the moon sighting. So all right, okay. Please mention your attendance in the yeah, I will do confirm the timings in the group for tomorrow's session after I get to know. And yeah, the recordings, they will be shared in the group, in the Google Classroom. Please mention your attendance and then you can leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Allah Hafiz. Bye.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Bye.
Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am. Ramadan Kareem.
Hafiz. Same to you.